Hawks win. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks POSTGAME Podcast. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Nate's here running the show. Sarah's here standing by. The Bulls just got out of the victory round.
Bulls win.
The seat is still damp from Matt Peck.
There's hats all over the place.
There's hats everywhere despite the win.
Why are you so damn mad when you're winning?
You got to be, man. The hat throw is the best part. It's just keeping his business afloat.
Don't worry. There'll be plenty of time for hat throws.
Thanks for being with us, everybody. We know you love to come out when the Hawks win. This was a big one. This was an important one and just a really gutsy effort. Do us a favor. Smash that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're catching up in the morning on the podcast, thank you. Make sure you are following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app. And please, to celebrate the Hawks win, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The Hawks get goals tonight from Philip Kurashev with a power play goal. Lucas Reichel scores. Ryan Donato with a pair of goals. And Ilya Mikheyev, he can hit the back of the empty net.
Third time's a charm.
It was just an all-around really solid effort against a team that is significantly better. But Ryan Donato +3. Alex Vlasic +3. Ilya Mikheyev +3. And he's not one of our 4-star nominees, but Peter Mrazek, man, he was really solid in this one.
He battled in this one. And, I mean, it's we'll break it down even further. But, man, this was it felt like a 38-minute penalty kill, that second and third periods up until the empty nets goals were going in. But, yeah, Mrazek was a huge part of the win tonight. And, it feels like this is one of those games that I think we were going into it not expecting good results, and to come out with a win like that, that's big. That's big to snap this losing streak and get a 2-point effort that they deserved.
Yeah, it was. They had to hang on, like you said. I think we'll go through the scoring summary, but I said early in the night, like when it was 3-1, I was like, no lead is going to feel safe tonight, and it never felt safe. But they said that they know what works. We just got to do it for the whole game. Well, they, for the most part, did it tonight. They played a much simpler game. There were stretches of the game where the Colorado Avalanche were dominating, but it's the Colorado Avalanche. Just what they do. They do that to a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. You played a great game, and 2 streaks ended tonight. Blackhawks 4-game losing streak, and the Avalanche's 5-game winning streak is now history. So that's a good one. Now, I got breaking news. The Blackhawks will not be the first team to lose to the San Jose Sharks. They just beat the Utah Hockey Club in overtime for their first
game
win.
The game was 4-1 in the third period.
5-1 Sharks win. Congratulations to Ryan Warsofsky for his first NHL win.
Did I read the score wrong?
I think something got tweeted wrong, because I saw the automated goal bot that comes out, and it looked like they had Utah winning. Either way.
So the Blackhawks...
No. Sharks won 5-4 in overtime.
That's what I just said.
You said 5-1.
I said 5-4. You can't win 5-1 in overtime.
No, you can't.
I said they won.
That's why I was confused.
Whatever.
5-4.
The bottom line is the
Hawks won 5-2 over the Avalanche.
Well,
my
for the
point
Sharks
of
too.
all of this is now the Blackhawks are playing the Sharks next.
Yes.
And you have a chance to win back-to-back games, which would be huge for this team. I'm greedy. I want more than just an Avalanche win. Go beat them crap-ass Sharks.
Yeah, 100%.
They'll be feeling all full of themselves after a big win.
And you mentioned how it felt like a 40-minute penalty kill. It did. I think part of that feeling, though, was like PTSD of the Hawks have a lead and they can almost never hold a lead. Mm-hmm. And Colorado is getting some good scoring chances. But when you look at this game, the Hawks had the advantage in possession. They had the advantage in shot attempts, all that stuff. They played pretty well, and they did a good job. We've got the heat map here. We'll show it in a little bit. The Hawks did a good job of keeping Colorado outside. So there was a lot of times where Colorado had the puck in the Hawks zone, but they weren't doing much in the zone. They weren't getting a lot of shots on goal. The Hawks credited with 24 shot blocks in this game. That seems low. That's kind of an objective, some guy sees it and ticks a box kind of a thing. But we got the heat map on the screen right now, and you could see where the Hawks in front of the Avalanche goal is dark in tone. And you look at the Avalanche's heat map, everything's coming from, the face-off circles or the point. Not a lot of like really close-in chances were given up by the Hawks. Not to say that, there weren't times where they were on their heels, like we said, but I think they did. This is exactly what we're talking about. And what Connor Bedard mentioned in the pregame is we just got to stick with it. We got to stick with the system and we're going to get results. And at no point aside from, wow, TJ Brodie just fumbled the puck again, or man, I wish they had cleared that puck. At no point did the structure disappear.
Yeah, that's the big thing, because when Colorado is pushing and chasing a game, it's a lot different than when the Blackhawks have to chase a game, because Colorado is chasing a game and they're throwing out Makar and Rantanen and McKinnon, and it's just, you saw it on the Seth Jones goal, just the individual one-on-one game-breaking abilities of a guy like Nathan McKinnon. Anytime he's on the ice, like, it's a threat. So for them to hold on to a 1-goal lead for 2.5 periods with a Colorado team that's pushing, like, and it got scrambly at times, but there were it's inevitable that there's going to be a few times where Colorado pins you in your own defensive zone and you have some extended shifts and you have to just survive to the next faceoff. But they were able to do it. And like we said, like, Peter Mrazek came up with some big saves. The team was able to, weather the storm and bend but don't break. And that is impressive to do against a Colorado team with this kind of firepower. And we talk about secondary scoring, like needing secondary scoring on this team for it to sustain success. Not only expect, the top 6 forwards group, Connor Bedard, to like lead production. Like, goal scorers tonight were Kurashev and Donato and who was the third?
Reichel and
Reichel. Yeah. Like, Craig Smith's shot goes off Reichel's arm, like puck luck. There's a bounce in the Blackhawks' favor. That was something that they were due for. So you get the secondary scoring, you get those guys active, and you get a win with them being the goal scorers. Like, that's got to be really good for this team's confidence, knowing that like those guys are pushing in a game like this. So now hopefully you get the next game, you can get your top 6 production going, you can get your big names going while having these more depth players, quote unquote, going. Like, that's going to give you some good feelings.
Well, we've got the first period goals on the screen, and when that sorry, just took it off, but they were on the screen. And, thinking back to last year and the year before, like, once McKinnon scores that late goal, it's 19-17 into the period. You're up 3-1. All of a sudden, the period ends. It's a 5-on-3. He scores. It's an absolutely mind-blowing display of his skill, just blasting past Seth Jones, or, as Greg said, pretty much anyone in the league would have been screwed by that.
I mean, like, one of the first replies on Twitter was, "Oh, Seth Jones being a statue." It's like, dude, that's Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, join the club.
So the only defenseman in the building that would have even had a chance to stop him got the primary assist on the goal.
Exactly.
Cale Makar.
Yes.
Like, he's going to do that to 97% of the defensemen in this league.
And there were a couple times later in the game where he tried again, and Jones
there was third period, got him, wrapped him up, put him in the boards, got him off the puck. Like, fool me once.
Yeah.
Even though
shame on you,
something like that.
Can't get fooled again. But the point being that last season, 2 seasons ago, that is, even though the Hawks are winning, that goal is a dagger, and you just know it's a matter of time before Colorado comes back and wins the game 5-3, 6-3. And you were saying too, as we were watching the end of the game, Greg, like, just hold on, just close out a game. This is the next step in the lesson here for this team. Yeah. And they did it. They did a great job.
And we've been seeing like little bit of progressions. Like, it was after the Utah game, it was like, hey, we gotta play in the first period, and then the next night, was the Winnipeg game, and it was much better, but then they lost it at the end, and then it was, well, we got to close out and play a full 60. Well, the next night it was Edmonton, and they played a full 60 and they won. And then, they, outside of that Vancouver game, they've really been competitive in all these games, but it was like, hey, we got to figure out a way to win one of these games. We got to figure out a way to win. Tonight, they figured out a way to win. And while it didn't feel safe in that second and third period, but as that heat map showed, the majority of those Avalanche chances were from the outside. They kept them to the outside almost all night. There were very few times where like they got inside the dots and you were like, oh crap. So like, though it was nerve-wracking watching those
100%.
periods, it was nice that, they're able to do this. This is what they need. This is what they need for their psyche and their confidence. Now they know. Not only did they close out a game, but they did it against, a perennial Stanley Cup contender, a team that was on a 5-game winning streak. Sure, they played last night. Sure, they're playing one of the worst goaltenders in the league, but who cares? You got to beat those. You got to beat that team when you have them down, and they were able to do that. And now you have a three-game trip through California. Those are winnable games.
Yeah, definitely.
Come back, win it, beat the Sharks on Thursday, see what happens over the weekend, come back home with some confidence and some points, and knowing you can beat anybody on any night. That's what this team needs, is that kind of kick in the butt, that confidence boost, and I think they got it tonight.
All right, we got to tell you about the 4th star nominees that you can vote for on our YouTube poll right now. 3rd star of the game, Casey Middlestat from Colorado with a goal. Lucas Reichel, the number 2 star of the game, he had a goal, +1 3-shot attempts, and your number 1 star, no surprise here, Ryan Donato, 2 goals, 1 assist, +3 with 4 shots on goal. So here are your nominees for the 4th star. Get them in right now. We'll reveal the winner at the end. Alex Vlasic with an assist, +3, 4 block shots, 24-20 of ice time. Philip Kurashev, a power play goal, 4 shots on goal, 5 shot attempts, and Jason Dickinson with 2 assists, +3, 4 shots on goal, and 3 hits. I also believe that he should have gotten an assist on the Donato empty netter, but it must have hit an Avalanche stick before it came out.
Yeah.
So very close to a 3-assist night for Jason Dickinson, and for a guy whose job it is to defend the best players on the ice for the opponent night after night after night, he was towards the top in possession for the team. Wyatt Kaiser, if you want to look at Corsi, 80% Corsi for Wyatt Kaiser. Wyatt Kaiser, while on the ice at 5-on-5, 14:04 at 5-on-5, 0 shots on goal for the Avalanche.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Ryan Donato with a 61% Corsi. He was 5-2 in shots, 11-7 on shot attempts. Jason Dickinson, 58.82, 4 shots for, 2 against with him on the ice. So
can I throw this out there for Jason Dickinson as well? At 5-on-5 tonight, these are the 3 guys that he matched up with the most at 5-on-5. 7 minutes, 45 seconds against Mikko Rantanen. 7 minutes, 16 seconds against Nathan McKinnon. 7 minutes and 3 seconds against Cale Makar. He was on the ice for with Dickinson on the ice against those 3 guys. Corsi was 5-3 against Rantanen, 6-2 against McKinnon, 6-1 against Makar. Shots for at 5-on-5, 3-1 against Rantanen, 4-1 against McKinnon, 3-0 against Makar. Jason Dickinson shut down the 3 best players that the Avs had when he was on the ice tonight.
Yes, he did.
That is damn impressive.
Remember my bold prediction before the season that Jason Dickinson is going to be a Selke Trophy finalist this season?
Hey, do that more.
Games like this.
Send that to the voters.
Yeah, for your consideration.
You shut down the best players on one of the best teams in the league.
There you have it. All right, we got to hit the break zone here. We're going to get to your super chats after the break. Lots more to come. I don't know if we're going to hear from Luke tonight. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the emails, but let's just celebrate this win together. They're few and far between, so let's
Not
have
for long, my friend.
Let's enjoy it together. We're also going to get later in the show, Who's Your Hawk? We'll reveal the 4-star winner, all that great stuff. Before we hit the break zone, again, reminder, please hit that like button for us and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Back with more in a moment on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. He said.
But first, did you bet on Ryan Donato to get 3 points tonight? If you did, you've probably got a lot of money in your pocket, whether it's
you're from the future.
Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football and all other sports is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do that. And then with the money you win at Circa, you want to head over to Game Time and get some tickets to a Hawks game,
Maybe.
a Bulls game.
Sure. Those are winning teams.
Billie Eilish is coming to town.
Hey.
You can mortgage your home and get to some tickets to that.
Nice.
All kinds of stuff. There's always things coming up. And Game Time has.
Game Time, you won't have to mortgage them.
That's right. It's less of just one mortgage payment.
It's a smaller mortgage.
Not the whole house.
Yeah.
Game Time has a
Mortgage
news
for a
feature
townhouse.
called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Want to go see the Bears? Maybe those tickets are skyrocketing down. What's the opposite of skyrocketing? Plummeting. Plummeting to earth. You never know.
Nosedive.
Yes. With Game Time Picks, their curation makes it so much easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. They've got the views from your seat, so you know exactly what you're buying when you get it. And their low price guarantee, if it's not lower, if you find it lower somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Ooh, thank you. All right, let's get to these super chats. If we got a couple lined up here, Nate. I know I saw a couple rolling in there. We got one from Boris Dachuk. Says, big, sexy Greg with glasses. Yep, I like the glasses look, too.
Yeah, $2.
If you can handle it, I'll bring it.
The ladies in the office were calling him Clark Kent.
No, you called me Clark
That
Kent.
was not me. That was Emma and or Sarah. It was Sarah, yeah. Don't steal Sarah's valor. Brandon with the $5 super chat. Vancouver did it again. Mikheyev is solid, man. He's not a world beater offensively, but he's played well with Dickinson and whoever else is on that line. Yeah. Defensively, he's been outstanding. Mm-hmm. And real calm with the puck. Knows when he's got time, passes on the money to clear the zone, moving the puck up. The goals, well, maybe not, because last year they never came. Yeah. But the goals should come with the opportunities he gets and the shot he has. Hopefully this goal tonight will help him feel a little more confident. I know it's an empty netter, but it's something. It's a monkey off the back. It's not a 0 on the score sheet.
Yeah, it's something positive. Like even if you're looking for your first one to kind of like get that out of the way, you take them as they come.
For sure. And having him and Jason Dickinson on the same line, you just read those stats.
They all translate.
That's your shutdown line.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of the pickup when it happened. And it's just I don't know, something about picking off those defensive-minded forwards from the Canucks has worked out well.
Good idea. Boris Dachuk again with $5 more. Wow. Says, is Levshunov the first call up if another D-man gets hurt?
No.
He is not coming up this year.
Louis Crevier.
No. Levshunov is going to spend the entirety of the season in Rockford as he should. Maybe you give him
they give him a Slaggert and Azar treatment.
You give him a Del Mastro. Hey, you had a really good game. Come play the last home game of the year type of thing. But
right.
No. Nope. You let him marinate down there in Rockford. That's why Louis Crevier and Isaac Phillips are here, so they could be that guy. If you need somebody long term,
Del Mastro,
maybe Del Mastro.
Korchinski.
Korchinski's been decent, but Korchinski's got to stay down there.
He's gonna play down there. Yeah,
he's been good on the special teams. He's not been great 5-on-5 yet. So Crevier, Phillips, they were brought back specifically to be that shuttle team. The old taxi squad is back.
The taxi squad. Oh, brings back memories. Let Levshunov play as much as he can down in Rockford. That's where he's going to get the most minutes. Where he's going to get the most responsibilities. Like that's best for him. Also, happy birthday, Artie.
It is, 2019. Jesus H.
I think we got some trolls in the chat, but I saw somebody in there saying, why wasn't a generational player on the ice with the empty net? Because they were defending a lead.
Yeah. Connor Bedard's not a Sulky winner yet. Give him time.
Tell me
you
don't watch hockey without watching.
He had some pretty good defensive plays. He had I forget who it was against, but I think it was the second period, he had a strip on a forechecking effort. Like, it's good to see stuff like that from him.
They're all people we haven't seen before, so
cool.
That's fine.
Was there another super chat from people that were actually being
from people that know what hockey is?
From people we like?
Yeah. Feel free to block any trolls too, Nate.
Yeah, you have. I already put that in the Slack.
We're working on it.
Yeah, you have the power.
Do we have one more super chat that we got to get to?
Gotta pay the troll toll.
There we go. Windy City Hockey says Vlasic was a machine tonight. Yeah, Alex Vlasic has quickly gotten to the point where it's like set it and forget it. I don't have to worry about that guy ever.
He's so solid.
And the offense is coming along too.
Yeah.
Like that, was it the Nato goal that he had the big setup on?
No, the
Kurashev goal, yeah. Circles his zone, puts a puck on net, gets back to him. He goes around the net again and then sets up beautifully. Like he's just, and he set up the Bedard goal the other night with a great, he kind of half pinched and then just sent the pass right to the middle, right on the tape to Bedard, and he scored. Like he is just awesome. Alex Vlasic is such a good defenseman.
Someone sent me the question on Twitter, and they were like, "Is he like? Do you think he could play as like a top, like number one defenseman?" I'm like, it looks like his potential is that. Like we're still not seeing a fully realized Alex Vlasic in terms of like the full scope of his talent. But now this year he's kind of getting a little bit more of an offensive assignment. While still being like play 20 plus minutes and play on the top pair, play on the penalty kill, all that stuff. Like, and he's done it really well so far through these 10 games. So like, as he continues to progress, the more and more I'm like feeling like, yeah, like his whole prime, hopefully it's all with the Blackhawks. Hopefully his whole career is with the Blackhawks the way he's playing, but his whole prime could be as a top pair guy. And I think, I don't know if we necessarily thought that 2 years ago. So, like, the way that he's been developing has been super encouraging, super exciting.
I think the organization is looking ahead to the future and dreaming of a top pairing of Artem Levshunov and Alex Vlasic for many years to come.
That's a really nice. Two complementary defensemen.
I think their styles really jive with each other. I mean, yes, Levshunov has played 2 professional games. I'm not declaring him a number 1 defenseman yet.
But he was the number 2 overall pick for a reason.
Right.
So.
He was drafted to be that guy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Go be that guy. And him and Vlasic could be a very, very good pair for a long time.
It's a lot of length and mobility on your top pair.
Yeah. And you have that all you'll have that all up and down. Mm-hmm. Geez, could you imagine that is your top pair and then you have like Sam Renzel on your second pair with like a Nolan Allen? I mean, come on.
And then Seth Jones is on your third pair.
Yeah. Seth Jones and Ethan Del Mastro as your third pair,
is your third pair defenseman that you can shelter.
The defensive group is damn exciting. So good core coming and Vlasic is exciting. It's the strides he's making in his overall game. We knew he was defensively reliable coming into the season, but now we're seeing that get ramped up to not just defensively reliable, but defensively exceptional. And now he's adding the offense to his game, and it's exciting to see. And that's a heck of a development path that he's been on, and he is the poster child for patience and development with this organization.
Yeah,
100%. I'm trying to think of moments where I was like, oh, God, Vlasic, tough play. This season,
not many.
He's just so damn reliable. And I think, like, just the fact that it's almost like the defensive game is almost fully realized. So now it's just a matter of adding the offense. Mm-hmm. He's at a 0.5 point per game pace right now. He's got 5 assists in 10 games.
Fine. Yeah.
The goals are going to start coming because he's got a cannon when he uses it. He saw some time in the top power play. That's going to continue as his career goes on. That guy is just really encouraging. And
as the chat pointed out, when we're drooling over future defensive pairs, we didn't even mention Kevin Korchinski.
I was just going to say that. Like, a lot of love for Korchinski, obviously.
Well, that's because he was traded for the number 2 center.
Out of sight, out of mind. I only like defensemen who wear 55 on their jerseys.
That's right. Exactly. We got to talk about Lucas Reichel, too, who gets a goal in this one. Kind of a lucky a lucky.
Hey, he had his elbow in the right spot at the right time.
Hey,
He doesn't score that goal if he's not driving.
Well,
to
That's
you're
hockey
right.
IQ, my friend.
It was a team desperately in need of some puck luck, and they finally got it. But he also had a shift later in the game where he had like 2 passes on the money to set up great scoring chances. He is skating with a ton of confidence, and he's gotten the message. Winning board battles, engaging in board battles. Yeah, like the all-around game is there for Reichel. And, as our entering the season, it was one of the stories we were going to keep an eye on. Like, is this his last shot with the Hawks? He was scratched for the first 4 games?
First 4 games, yeah.
He's not coming out. And don't move him. Keep him on the the fourth line is kicking ass. Keep him there.
I read
They're playing
that
so well.
is stunting his development.
And
au contraire.
He's playing great. Like
Craig Smith and
that.
Pat Maroon have been 2 of the best Blackhawks these last 4 games.
Who knew all it took to unlock the potential of Lucas Reichel was Craig Smith.
2 35-plus fourth liners.
But see, I like you've said this a few times, Greg, on the postgame shows. Like, it gives him the opportunity to be the offensive guy and not have to worry so much about the defensive part. He still has to do it, and he is still doing it, but he doesn't have to. Not that he was doing it on his other lines either, but now especially, he knows Craig Smith's got my back, Pat Maroon's got my back. I'm going to instigate some offense here, and I'm going to create, and I'm going to go do the stuff I was drafted to do, and I know those guys will handle the defensive aspect of things primarily, and then if something happens, I got the speed to get back there and make up for it.
Right.
And now the willingness to engage, which is one of the things that was missing for him. I love the way he's looked recently. I'm not taking him off the fourth line. If it's because he's bum slaying,
You could call that the
so
top
be
line.
it. Yeah. Well, guess what? It kind of is.
Played like a top line.
If you want to call it bum slaying, call it bum slaying. But those
it
goals
works.
count too.
Yeah.
The stats at the end of the year, when you look at the stats at the end of the year, you never looked at Nathan McKinnon, 56 goals, but he scored 32 of them against the bottom 6 bumsling. No, there's still goals.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Still got to score them, and that's another thing that helps him on that fourth line is he's playing against
the matchups.
other bottom 6 third pairing defensemen. Like, he's going to be able to take advantage of that, and he's not going to be thinking of, oh my God, I got to get it to Connor Bedard.
Yeah,
I got to get it to Teuvo Teravainen if you can find him out there.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think too, like, I think playing with Maroon and Smith is rubbing off on Reichel, and that he's playing with guys that have the mindset of like finish checks, like skate hard, back check. Like, your bread and butter is going to be winning puck battles, winning individual board battles. Like, that's if you play with guys that are playing like that, you're kind of forced into like, well, I got to do that too, because this is what we're being asked to do. So, you get a guy like Lucas Reichel in that mindset, engaging in that way, playing that way, and he also still possesses that like top 6 forward like skill set. So if you get a guy playing with like a fourth line mindset and willingness to do so while also still having that skill, like, you're getting a really good combination of a guy that can be really effective. And it's like kind of realizing a potential of his to like stick in the NHL is like, you can be skilled, but you also have to commit to like those little things in the game that make a difference. Like, yeah, like going out and having a bunch of highlight reel plays is wonderful, but if you're a liability defensively or you take shifts off that cost your team, you're going to become, put on the bench or scratched. But if you're being able to either affect the game on the score sheet or be a net positive in doing the little things right, or if you do both, wonderful, but being effective either of those ways keeps you in this lineup and keeps the team being successful.
And it doesn't mean that over time he can't then, learn enough of how to play that way against tougher competition.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Like, that will come too. He also still has some physical growth to come too. Like, he's going to get bigger and stronger with more NHL play, more NHL nutrition, all that stuff.
Maybe.
There's a lot more, I think, coming for Lucas Reichel. And I think keeping him somewhere where he's having success is very important. Being the number 2 star tonight is a big thing for him in a game where a lot of guys on his team played very well. For him to get that recognition means something. So stop messing with it. And we're going to get to the other line change, putting Kurashev on top when we come back next. But we got to hit this break zone here. And we got some more super chats we got to get to as well. So keep those coming if you'd like. Also, do us a favor and smash that like button if you have not yet. We'll be back in a moment on CHGO Blackhawks. But with all the madness happening in the world, if you've been paying attention, life is stressful.
Sure.
Very, very stressful these days. Lots of
stress,
anger and hate and vitriol and all that stuff. And I'm sure it's going to go away.
That's just at the Bears.
That's exactly right. So you know what? We all need to choose chill. You're right. It's just kind of a thing that we should all kind of get better at. And just remember to take a moment and just relax and choose chill. And when you do, the great accessory for it is an ice cold Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment and the perfect choice when you choose chill. You open that fridge, maybe you got the beer fridge in the basement, and you see those blue mountains on the bottom of that can, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be amazing. I got one waiting for me at home. The second I walk in, going to crack open that Coors Light, pop on NHL 25 until I fall asleep. Boom. Hit the bed. Perfectly chill night. Make the most out of the times that you choose to chill with Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart right now. Well, maybe not now because they're closed, but try it tomorrow by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And hey, if you want to choose chill in another way, why not check out our friends at the Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary? They are here to elevate your summer or winter or fall or spring. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. So wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. That's an interesting way with that, but stop in to a store nearest to you for expert guidance from their staff and select from quality lines like Cresco and Florical. So make sure to stop into Sunnyside or go online at sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off of your first 3 online purchases. Use the code HICHGO, that's HICHGO, at checkout to qualify. Exclusions do apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for those 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders.
All right, we got some more super chats we got to get to here. One from KRCHI Sports. Why don't you put the games on TV, KRCHI Sports? $2 says Reichel with confidence equals 3 lightning bolts. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. Nice. Thank you for the super chat.
That's a throwback.
Deadhawk, $2 says Reichel taking power play 1 faceoffs. I'm here for it.
Sweet.
Down with that.
Yeah, good.
Jason with a $5 super chat says about 3 weeks ago I said to cut the soft euro.
Yeah, I remember that.
I am temporarily rescinding the demand till further notice. Jury is back in for deliberation in my head. Is that Mikheyev?
No,
Reichel.
Reichel?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
A lot of people wanted to cut Lucas Reichel 3 weeks ago. You weren't the only one,
Thank
Jason.
you, Jason Cherry.
Yeah. You weren't the only one. Lots of people wanted to cut him, but he's still under 110 games in the NHL. A long way to go before we can finally make declarations, or at least
Make the declaration.
I did that once with Lucas Reichel, and I learned my lesson.
right now, 4 points in 6 games.
I did the math earlier. That if he had that over a 82-game season, that's a 55-point season. You would take that every season.
If that's what Lucas Reichel is, I'll take it.
3 points with the first 4 games missed.
Right. So if Lucas Reichel can play
that's what Philip Kershaw did last year.
Yeah.
I would take
if
that.
Lucas Reichel can play in your middle 6 and give you 55 points a year, you would take that for the next.
If he can
10
play on
years.
your 4th line and give you 53 points a year.
Yeah. The Giggities with the $2 super chat says, thanks, he who shall not be named, for drafting Vlasic. Yeah, it was one of
That's a good pick.
Sam Bowman's better picks late in his tenure.
His
second round pick.
His last 2 draft classes, as much crap as we give him, his last 2 draft classes were pretty darn good. And it's also been helped that those guys have been able to get developed under the new regime as opposed to
as their lower draft picks, he wasn't so tempted to come and play with his
last
new
2
toy.
drafts had Vlasic and Camezzo. Delmastro was part of one of those drafts.
Nolan Allen was one of his last.
Nolan Allen was his last first round pick.
The last 2 were the 21 and 20 drafts, but 2019 was where Vlasic was a second-round pick. You got Kaiser and Del Mastro, and Phillips was in that 2020 class. Reichel. I mean, he's to his credit. The last 2-3 drafts, he had some decent picks. Now, 2019 was also Kirby Dach. But
again, if Kirby Dach had been allowed to develop, maybe he's a different guy.
Exactly.
Hey, Kirby Dach turned into Frank Nazar.
He did.
Poof! I'm now Frank Nazar.
I am now. Man, I wish I could do that.
That wouldn't suck.
I guess I get my injured every other week, and that's how it happens. You become Frank Nazar. Let's talk about the lines a little bit. And if you've noticed, the games where the Connor Bedard line and Teuvo Teravainen line have not been noticeable are the ones where they don't have Nick Foligno on their left wing.
The last two.
I mean, and there's I know he scored last game, and wasn't Foligno back on the top by then?
Last game?
I think so.
Last game was
Reichel
was up there
on the line.
And Foligno was on the second line.
Okay. Well, Pat Maroon's the one who set up Connor Bedard for that goal.
Right.
They haven't been generating a ton without Foligno there, and I know this is kind of the same conversation with Reichel. Stick with what's working. It doesn't have to be your textbook top line or your textbook fourth line. If you're getting results, I say stick with it. I think, I don't know. Kurashev's goal was a power play goal. That line didn't do much else beyond that. What did Bedard end up with 2 shots on goal in this game?
Yeah.
Teuvo Teravainen had no shots and 3 shot attempts.
He's one more game like this from being placed on the back of a milk carton.
Is it 6 in a row without a point?
It's just not even just a point. I mean, he's got the old Lucas Reichel line going, a whole lot of nothing across the board.
Yeah, that didn't help me tonight.
Spoiler alert, nobody did a whole lot.
Kurashev, Bedard, Teravainen, they were on the ice for 10 minutes and 7 seconds of 5v5 time. They were even 7-7 Corsi, and they were even 3-3 shots for shots against.
To correct myself, this was 5 games in a row without a point.
For Teravainen?
Yeah. And in those 5 games, he has 6 shots on goal.
Yeah, not great given the start that he had to the year.
And it's a -6.
Not great given the start of the season that he had. But I'm also it stinks that he's had this stretch. I'm also not worried about it though, because the player that he has been over the last few seasons, I think he's still that guy. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, you do want to see Teravainen, especially since he is or has been generating a lot at even strength for Connor Bedard. You'd like that to get back to that kind of level of production.
You wonder if maybe he's dealing with something, a little bit of a nagging something or other. But for game in Utah, had a goal, had 4 points against Edmonton, 2 points against the Sharks, and in every other game he's been shut out. So he's had a couple of high-profile, big-number games, but even through, before that scoreless streak began in the game in Buffalo, he was really noticeably good, making things happen both offensively and defensively, and it just really has not been noticeable very much lately at all.
2 of his 3 goals in this season have been on a power play too. So, I don't know. I mean,
the question is, have the Blackhawks found their second line center in Nick Foligno?
Maybe
9 for 13 from the faceoff.
Here's what I propose. I doubt there's going to be any line changes because he won.
Mm-hmm.
But if to your point, Jay, about Foligno on that line, if you need to have a grindy kind of guy up there, a guy that's hard to play against on that line now, Mount, you put Ryan Donato up there.
He played in the first line last year. He knows how to do it.
I'm hesitant to break up that third line. They're playing so well together. So well together in the role that they're asked to be played. I don't know if you mess with that.
If you want to flip Kurashev and Foligno, that's fine. And let's see what happens over a few games. Obviously, we saw a lot of chemistry with Bedard and Kurashev last year. I'm not judging one game against Colorado as, this doesn't work. But I don't know. I think a lot of us are just kind of we got to find the perfect line combos. The reality is this forward group isn't perfectly built. There's a lot of stopgaps in there. There's a lot, they don't truly have a center outside of Jason Dickinson, and Connor Bedard's a center, but he's got to start winning some faceoffs. They're kind of piecemealing things right now. Mm-hmm. So you're never going to find a perfect thing.
It's how I've always said about, are you building a team or filling out a roster? This is kind of a filled out roster.
Right.
Not a lot. There's a lot of guys that do a lot of the same thing. This isn't constructed as it should be. So there's a lot of, plug and play. Who knows? But the bottom line is the line chemistry, the line combinations. People are going to gripe about it, especially after losses. This guy should be here. This guy should be here. That's half of our job. But play like you played tonight. Every line playing a simplified game. It's not really going to matter in the end. Mm-hmm. You got to do the little things to win these games. And you got guys who are leading by example in that department, and just that type of play of hockey can be contagious. So I mean, it's kind of like Khrushchev was. That line was decent. It wasn't great. It wasn't dangerous. It never felt dangerous.
Yeah.
The line hasn't felt dangerous in about 4 or 5 games, to be honest with you. But, you're not going to change it. You're going to go into San Jose. You're going to keep these lines the same. The only change I would make, if we can get into this.
Yes, let's please do.
Is if Alec Martinez is back, I want to see TJ Brodie off the ice.
Yeah. And Martinez is a left defenseman. Brodie is right, but Nolan Allen has played right side a lot in Rockford. It's interchangeable. He's got to sit, man.
Put a folding chair with a stick out there.
I can't wait. And you have to word these things a little bit carefully in the media because you don't want to piss people off. But Luke, what is it that you're seeing from TJ Brodie that he's doing really well that you're keeping him in the lineup? I don't know the answer to that. I know it's very easy to find a scapegoat every game and find the whipping boy. It happens every year with every team in every sport. There's always one guy that everybody focuses on. But every time I see TJ Brodie on the ice, I see a puck mishandled and a glorious scoring opportunity for the other team.
He's a high danger scoring chance factory for the other team. He can't win a one-on-one battle. He's got no ability to move the puck. It just seems that every pass attempt is fumbled, passed right to an opponent. Gets pushed off the puck easily, can't clear the crease. I'm not exactly sure what he's providing to this team right now. Even with Jared Tenorti, you at least were like, well, if someone messes with Bedard, Tenorti will be out there to punch him. He at least had that to offer.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying, bro, I still think Brodie is better defensively than Jared Tenorti was, but Tenorti, at least you knew he's going to put somebody in the third row at some point in the night, and if there was a fight needed to be done, he can do that. But Brodie's not doing that. I don't see what's there.
I know, it's kind of. I'm not trying to It's a sincere question because there's clearly something that Luke is seeing that he likes.
Our buddy Ben Pope at the Sun-Times had an interesting tidbit last week about Brodie, how the Blackhawks play a completely different defensive system for their defensemen than what the Maple Leafs were. So he's there the last couple of years doing one thing, and now he's here and he's pretty much asked to do the exact opposite. Okay, that's fine for a few games of adjustment, but that doesn't prevent you from winning one-on-one puck battles.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
The system doesn't prevent you from being strong on your stick or passing it to your teammate. That has nothing to do with system. That's execution. That's just not being good at your job.
Yeah. I mean, if it was 1 or 2 bad games, I'd say he's getting scapegoated, but man, every game there's a moment where you're just, it's rough. And yeah, I mean, we were talking about during the game, when Alec Martinez comes back, it might end up being Nolan Allen because he's the young guy, and the plan is let the young guys develop in Rockford and stuff. But comparing the two on paper, you look at all their analytics and just the eye test, you put it together, like, and Luke in the pregame was asked about Nolan Allen. He's just like, he's not making mistakes. He's playing solid, smart hockey, and for a young guy being able to do that and not be a detriment to your team is big. I would take Nolan Allen over Brodie in this lineup. And veteran versus young guy, I don't care. Like, you got to put out the guy who's playing better, and Nolan Allen is playing better than TJ Brodie.
And I'd rather live with a mistake from him than Brodie.
The veteran is a liability right now.
Yes.
And out of the 6 defensemen you have skated these last few games, there's only one guy I consider a liability, and that's TJ Brodie.
That's true. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. And the Giggity brings up and said Alec Martinez was also in a different system and looks miles better than Brodie. He does. Alec Martinez was able to come in to the Hawks and just blend right in fine. When he played, he did a really good job. Like, he's not splashy. He's not Cale Makar, but he's out there doing the right thing. He's good with the puck. He can clear it. He can win a battle. Like, I just don't know. And maybe things are just right now. Maybe Brodie's just feeling it, and the confidence is low a little bit, and maybe he just needs a reset, and they don't have the opportunity to give him that right now.
Yeah.
But my God, like it's
been rough.
It's bad.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the year when he had the first 3 or 4 games that were pretty rough, I was of the mindset of just like, yeah, he's a veteran. Maybe he's probably able to play himself out of it. Hasn't done it in 10 games, and whether Martinez is back for the next game or the game after that, like, whenever it is, I really think Brodie needs to take a game or 2 off. Like, maybe needs a reset. Maybe just needs like I don't know what it is, but there's something. Something needs some sort of reset.
That's why I want Luke to say, this is what he does well, and this is why he's in the lineup. There's got to be a reason. It's not just because he's a veteran.
Sure.
Well,
I hope so.
The reason tonight he's in the lineup is because they only have 6 defensemen.
Right.
So the fact that when they sent Comezzo back down to Rockford today, because Soderblom was healthy enough to back up Mrazek, the fact they didn't call up a defenseman tells me Alec Martinez is going to be ready for Thursday's game.
He went on the trip, right?
Yeah, he went on the trip.
So he's with him.
That tells me that he's ready to play. Or they're going to recall a defenseman tomorrow, but I just don't know why they wouldn't make a course.
Wouldn't do it now.
They didn't make a corresponding move. They just sent Comezzo down, didn't call anybody up. That tells me they've got, 3 days now, or 2 off days before the next game. They're not practicing tomorrow. They practice Wednesday. That tells me Martinez is ready to go. So then I think you have to sit Brodie when Martinez is back, even if it's just for the the 1 or 2 game reset, like you said, Jay, and we've had some comments in the chat. Oh, Luke won't sit veteran defensemen. Well, he's showing this year that he's got no problem sitting veterans.
Yeah,
and Craig Smith, who's been one of the best players of the season, sat out 2 games.
Yeah,
and Andreas Anthony who's played what, 2 games, 3 games all season,
right?
Like he's got no problem sitting out veterans. So when Martinez comes back, I'm hoping and I'm sensing it will be a veteran for veteran swap.
All right, let me ask you this: do you try to ease Martinez back into the lineup? Maybe you don't play him against San Jose because you can probably beat San Jose with TJ Brodie.
Or give
him an extra couple days?
Considering easing him back in, playing against
maybe
because
the
talently deficient. Because the next game is the Kings, and he wants that game. But that Kings are a big, heavy team.
Yeah,
so I'd probably play him
as soon as he's healthy. He's in.
Yeah,
when Alex Martinez tells me
you're
go,
he's able to play.
He's in.
So Nolan Allen was the low man in ice time for the Hawks in this one among defensemen, 13-22. Do you give Alec Martinez, bottom pair minutes for his first game back against San Jose? Hopefully you don't need him too much. Play Seth, play Vlasic a lot until the game, I'm assuming victory, which I shouldn't do. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just afraid because if you're talking about a lower body injury and it's a groin or it's something like that, one push off, one check where your knee hits the boards could re-aggravate the whole thing. That could happen against LA.
That can happen anywhere. Practice.
Of course.
Like, I don't think they have that mentality at all.
And they probably shouldn't, but no. I'm just, because
the second you what's the old adage? The second you play scared to get hurt, you get hurt.
Yeah. I have my doubts that when he comes back that it will be Brodie sitting. And I just love to know why. And usually when Lucas asks stuff like that, he has a pretty good answer. Like, all right, I might not agree with it, but that's like there's sound logic behind it.
Yeah. I mean, even with the whole why is Peter Mrazek starting in back-to-back games, he had a well-thought-out answer. I didn't necessarily agree with the answer, but at least it was better than, growing up in my house when I would ask my dad things and he would say, because I said so.
Yeah, Luke is very happy to explain his reasoning on stuff. So anyway, we'll see. Let's just hope Martinez is back. And even if he is back, I think, if it is Allen that sits, I think at this point Martinez is better than Allen.
Right, yeah.
So fine. The team's better with him in the lineup either way. And maybe if he plays with Brodie, he can settle things down a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing is
I never understood that contract. I don't know why it had to be 2 years. And someone in the chat pointed out that Jake McCabe just signed for what, like $750,000 more than Brodie did with Toronto. And I know he probably wants to stay in Toronto, chance to win.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
And that's all they can afford,
man.
But no, it
was Sven, by the way.
The TJ Brodie contract is going right up there with Andreas Athanasiou as the worst deals Kyle Davidson has made so far.
And the Athanasiou one, you kind of live with it because you need a body, you need someone who can put a puck in the net,
and that came
just to
after
fill
the
space.
20-goal season.
Yes,
it wasn't like they gave this Andreas Athanasiou the contract extension. They gave the guy who scored 20 goals and was playing effectively and looked like a centerman who could play in the NHL as a center in a middle six role, and then couldn't and got hurt and it wasn't effective, and then didn't get into the lineup out of training camp and hasn't stuck around in the time that he's been given to play in the lineup. So that's not the Andreas Athanasiou they signed. They signed the guy that scored 20 goals and was using his speed effectively.
And he will get in this lineup again before the season's over.
Well,
I guarantee.
I think
at some point.
I think we've got the solution for Andreas Athanasiou. We said it while we were watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
Awful news for the Oilers as Connor McDavid got injured tonight and went back to Edmonton to get evaluated. It's not looking great. Anytime your player leaves a road trip to go back home to get evaluated is not a good sign, but hopefully it's nothing too bad. But replace Connor McDavid with Andreas Athanasiou. Done.
You barely noticed the difference.
Sure, yeah.
Stan Bowman loves to bring back guys that have already played for that team, and Andreas Athanasiou is a former Edmonton Oiler.
Yeah.
With speed.
Do your thing, Stan Bowman.
Yeah.
Give us that.
Future considerations.
Yeah.
F considerations.
I mean, sure. We'll take that 6th round pick.
Yeah. Pick up half his contract, too.
Hell yeah.
Take that spoiled brat, Zach Hyman, off your hands.
Rich kid. Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, again, like I really do feel like knowing Luke, when Martinez is back, it will be Allen coming out, but I don't know. I still feel like eye test and the computers.
If the idea, and someone in the chat said it, sorry, I missed it, but like, if the idea this year is to earn your playing time, what has Noah Allen done to lose playing time?
Yeah, I don't think anything.
And by the way, I know we've got over 330 people watching, so we got probably some new faces.
Smash it.
By the way, that whole Andreas Athanasiou thing, if you're new to the show, sarcasm. I'm not being.
That was obvious, but
you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know who's gonna.
My rule of thumb with me on this show and on Twitter: when in doubt, always choose sarcasm.
Yes, that is the Greg Boyson way. All right, we got to pay off our segments here. We have our is our 4th star of the game ready to go, Nate? All right, who do we got?
I think these.
I
think the smash the like button sign there is a spoiler alert.
Oh, a little bit, huh? Bring it on. There he is. Alex Vlasic, the 4-star of the game. Deservedly so, man. He was awesome. 68% of the vote.
Needed one more vote.
Again, I don't know why these don't add up to 100, but Philip Kurashev gets 20.
It's like an election.
Jason
They never add up
gets
to
10.
they never add up to 100.
Yeah, what
either.
is this? This is 98%.
Yeah, it's probably like it
Some
doesn't have.
second start reporting.
There's a minus 2 error rate.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it wasn't enough for either Kurashev or Big J Dick to catch up to Alex Vlasic. So, congrats to him on the 4-star, and hopefully we're hearing a lot more from Alex Vlasic any day now.
Yeah,
It'll be a lot of fun to get that done.
Check your inbox.
Yeah, exactly. But I hear Kate McNow needs a seat somewhere, so I gotta wait on that. Anyway, all right, now we got to do Who's Your Hawk? Oh, we gotta get the chain. Hang on, I'll get it.
Sure. Who's your hawk? It was a
barn burner.
It was a whole bunch of nutting.
Well, who wins the chain tonight?
Well, I guess the tiebreaker would be the person higher in the standings gets to wear the chain because Jay and I tied with 1 whole point. Tyler Pertuzzi got a point and was a -1 on the night. So yeah,
I'll take it.
So Jay still
a win is a win,
and Mario had a half a point from Tavo Teravainen. So
last time I pick you.
Yeah, that's not.
No, it's not.
That'll teach you.
And by the way, the diehards are doing their own Who's Your Hawk in the Discord. Another perk for becoming a diehard. One winner tonight, Goose to Bianco. Guess who he picked or she? I don't know. Smartest person in the room, Ryan Donato.
Hey man, he has been performing.
Been really good.
He's been really.
They got
solid.
a new system over there. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but you have to. They're picking like 5 games ahead, and you can't pick the same guy twice in your 5 games. So keeps it interesting. Shout out to Dead Hawk who's been winning that. You're screwed.
Yikes! That sounds like a lot of work, Dead Hawk. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's why I let Dead Hawk do it because I was like, as much as I love you, diehards, and your you peeps in the Discord, I'm not doing more work if I don't have to.
By the way, Seahuck, who had the bad take about Dustin Byfuglien the other day, came in here and said, I had a bad Dustin Byfuglien take. I'm sorry. Hey, man, that's what it's all about, is just owning it.
Exactly, man.
Instead of calling us b-holes and hitting the thumbs down button and then giving us 1-star reviews because you were wrong.
We're all human here. Listen, buddy.
I'm wrong 9 times a show.
I have said plenty of stupid things on this show. You are not alone.
Yes, 100%.
So, congrats to owning your errors.
All right, we are off tomorrow.
Thank God.
Day off. We'll be back Wednesday afternoon at 2:30. We'll see what we got to talk about then. And then we got the post game on Thursday night.
Mm-hmm. Late night,
yeah.
It won't even be Halloween anymore.
Is it a 9:30?
9:30 puck drop.
Are we dressing up?
No.
Let's dress up as our favorite CHGO personalities, not ourselves.
Okay. I'll be Luke Stuckmeyer. I'll just get a hat with nothing on it. He has a wide variety of non-logoed hats.
It's the hats that like Jason Bourne wears.
That's what he wants. I think he's robbing banks.
He's the Rob Lowe of Chicago.
No, Rob Lowe is a generic logo. I root for the NFL.
Rob Lowe's a big fan of the league.
Luke Stuckmeyer just has a black hat with nothing, a blue hat with nothing, a maroon hat with nothing. I think he went to like the blank hat store.
I like that. It's the kiosk in the mall where you can get your own hat made, but he just says, nope, just the hat, please.
No hat
no
for me.
stitching for me. I need to save the $4. That would totally be a Stucky thing,
Yeah,
too.
The no thank you is a very Luke thing, yes.
Yeah. Giggity says Greg's already dressed like Clark Kent, so there you go.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Halloween brings. I know I'm going to be full of candy. That's for sure.
Full of something.
Deep Paris says another day off. Yes, we get 2 off days a week, bro.
We're allowed to have off days.
That's how a 5-day work week works.
Sorry that you work.
I'm
sorry you work at a job where you get 7 days off.
Siri again heard me.
Yeah, but
Stop listening to us.
Off day tomorrow, and then we don't have another off day until next Monday.
Yeah. So back off.
That you get 4 days in a row of us. What are you doing over there?
Are you playing our podcast in your
stuff happening?
What are you doing over there?
Is that Sounded
why
like
is
your
Doug
voice.
Buffone's voice
That was,
coming out of your pants?
That's the last podcast and left. They do not need our help.
No, they don't.
They don't need my promotion. All right, become a diehard. Do it right now. Go to allchgo.com. Why? Well, we're having a limited time massive sale. $48 for the year. That's $4 per month. You still get your free shirt. You still get 20% off all of our merch and events. You still get access to all of our great written content, our members-only Discord, all that stuff. But it's just significantly cheaper right now. So go to allchgo.com, navigate over to that Die Hard tab, and it becomes very obvious how to do it from there. So $48 for the year. You're not going to find a better deal on our Die Hard program than that. So jump on it. Do it. Become a Die Hard. We'd love to have you as part of our community here at allchgo.com. And if that's not in the cards for you, which is understandable, times are tough, the easiest way to help us, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube page, then take a few minutes to go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a 5-star review. Not a 4, not a 3, a 5-star review. That helps us out big time. It costs you nothing but 30 seconds. Thank you. Please do that. Chuck Fee says, hail yourself, Jay. Thank you, Chuck. Chuck is a last podcast listener. So we'll talk to you on Wednesday, 2:30, right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.